Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Ali. And today we're going to decipher and decipher Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings interpret themselves. As a student follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings, and I say that from the position of whether you're a minister, a private soldier, a supporter, or what have you, anytime you deal with a codified text like a Bible, a Quran, a Torah, the Egyptian book of life or something of that nature, the Egyptian coming forth out of darkness into the light, whatever you want to call it, the book of the dead, you can't bring your own superstitions and opinions and beliefs into it. You have to just read it as it is. You have to, as the messenger told us in How to Live, he said, leave my teachings as it is. The first thing you got to do is just get the knowledge. Just read it. And the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they don't contradict themselves. Now, I mean, we may think because we see a little quote somewhere that is contradicting itself. Now, I mean, but when you look at the teachings, when you just look at the whole picture, the whole tapestry, the spiritual science of it, you'll say, oh, okay, it makes sense. Now, I mean, you know, the messenger explained to us various statements. He told us, he said, your guess is as good as mine. He told us in Theology of Time in 1972, he said, we got to stop listening to guesses and theories. Theories and guesses might or might not be true. Now, I mean, we have to show and prove it, not show and tell it. Now, I mean, so there's a science to teaching the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I mean, now, of course, like anything, you have to use your own wisdom, because after belief comes knowledge. Knowledge is to listen, know, and observe. Knowledge is just the basic foundation. Knowledge is the foundation. Wisdom, the messenger said, is to make your knowledge known. He told us in the divine sayings that wisdom is independent of anybody. This is why we see more and more. The teachings that we're talking about today, the way we read How to Live today, 1,000 years from now, they're going to look at that like that's baby food to them. I mean, you know, human beings going to live infinitely. I mean, you know, a person that lived 800 Earth years would be like that. Back in the day, y'all couldn't make 100, 200 years. You know what I mean? Because we really didn't understand the essence of it. And we're living in a time and an environment where we don't have access to pure water, pure air, pure soil. Now, I mean, B12 is just simply not in the fruits and vegetables out here. Now, I mean, if you're a vegan, you're B12 deficient. You're lacking. Now, I mean, the messenger told us in How to Live, we need a balanced diet. We need trace minerals and all that. So you got to, like, balance it all out, if you will. Now, I mean, fasting helps. But fasting don't give you B12. B12 is found in the core of Africa, over, like, in the heart of Africa. It's a silver metal. It looks something like mercury or something. Now, I mean, but it works on our central nervous system. It helps our thoughts to travel. Now, I mean, it helps our heart to beat. Now, I mean, it works on our central nervous system. So it's an extremely important thing. And we suffer all kinds of deficiencies not being able to live in a organic and natural environment. Now, I mean, we're eating processed junk. We're thinking processed thoughts. Now, I mean, so when it comes to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, let the messenger interpret himself. Your question should be within yourself. Your question is supposed to be, whatever the subject is, the first thing, this is what our mistakes is. When we try to teach the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we try to push our interpretation, our superior wisdom first. Come on, man. The first thing we want to do is ask ourselves, what do the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teach us about this? So what you're doing is in your subconsciousness, in your consciousness, you're checking your records. Like, okay, talking about relationships, we're talking about names, economics, politics, war, peace, prison, blacks, whites, God, devil, heaven, whatever the subject is, the first thing you want to know is, what do the messenger teach us about that? And then in your subconsciousness from your studying, you instantly and automatically, you intuitively or naturally will think about what the messenger teachings is on that particular subject. Now, you can expand depending on your audience. If you're on the internet, you're going to have people that only have a 5th grade education. You're going to have people that's got degrees above their knees, college graduates. Now, I mean, you're going to have people that don't know science. You're going to have extreme scientists. You're going to have chemists. You're going to have mathematicians. You're going to have people that speak different languages. Now, I mean, you always have to realize that there's always people out there that know more than you on a certain subject. Now, I mean, many of you know way more than me on how to eat to live, science, math, education, making clothes, drilling, martial arts, getting money, whatever, politics. We have people that specialize in certain fields of study, so they become our shape, they become our scholars, they become our authority. But we never exalt any of our teachers above the master teacher, Master Farad Muhammad, or the master messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or the master message, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. As long as they elaborating and expounding on that, hey, you can do that all day long. Now, I mean, that's why the message said wisdom is independent of anyone. Now, I mean, but when it comes to sharing the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's not our teachers, it's his teachers. Now, I mean, so it's real funny to me when I see all these pseudo-scientists, so-called experts, they just literally running amok. Master Farad Muhammad, and Wallace Dodd Ford is the same person, is proof I know for a fact this is. I'm like, yo, okay, that's your worldview, that's your belief. But don't say that's the teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches is beware phony claims. And he's like, I'll give you 100,000 if you can prove to me that that imposter, that fake Master Farad Muhammad is the real Master Farad Muhammad. We have scholars like Dr. Wesley Muhammad. We got brothers that literally took years and took the time and did the research and the homework on that stuff. But sometimes people just don't want to know the truth. They just don't want to just be like, okay, I don't care about that. Cool, then run off with your thing. But don't make it like that's the teachers of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, I mean, that nonsense, the messenger disproved that crap back in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s. Now, I mean, we're not working with that. Now, I mean, let the messenger interpret himself. Now, I mean, the Bible teaches us to get knowledge, to get wisdom, but we're all about get understanding, because understanding is the principal thing. So we want the knowledge. We want what the Quran calls the alim, the knowledge. Now, I mean, we want alim. We want wisdom. We want hakim. We want understanding. We want alif. But we don't want hypothesis and theories and similes and parables and Masonic, esoterical, spooked out pseudo crap masquerading like it's the life-giving teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad is fine just the way they are. We don't need to update them or none of that. We definitely supposed to make them tops and modern. We definitely supposed to speak in perfect past, present, and future tense. You know what I mean? But we don't change the belief. We don't change the knowledge. We don't change the foundation. We build upon it. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle. I'll leave.